Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon anime video. In this video I want to talk about Pokemon moves that are much cooler and stronger in the Pokemon anime when compared to the Pokemon games. I actually had the idea to make this video several months ago, and thus I was going to make this video back then, but I never got around to making it and I don't remember why. Maybe I had other videos that I wanted to make which were a bigger priority. Or maybe I could not properly transition this idea into a video. But since the Pokemon Journeys anime took a 3-week break after episode 72, I got the sudden inspiration during this break to revisit this video idea once again. Which is a good thing because I have been wanting to make a different kind of video since recently I have only uploaded Pokemon Journeys episode reviews and preview discussions. So I wanted to upload something distinct. I also wanted to work on at least one video that is not about Pokemon Journey specifically while the anime was on break. But let's get to the video now, shall we? Now the Pokemon anime is based on the Pokemon games. This is no secret. However, despite this, the anime does not always follow the games faithfully. Whether it's Pokemon learning moves that they should not be able to learn, or Pokemon moves of a certain type that affect types that they shouldn't affect, or Pokemon that know more than 4 moves at a time. Now, most of these irregularities have been fixed already, but the point is that the anime does take some liberties when it comes to adapting certain aspects of the games. Pokemon moves is one such area where the anime often does its own thing. Like some moves just work differently in the anime, or they just look a lot cooler and they are much stronger in the anime, which is the topic of this video. Now I do realize that you could argue that every single Pokemon move is much cooler in the anime because, well, the anime just looks a lot better than the games. And a lot of moves do seem to be much stronger in the anime, but I think that most moves are pretty much the same in both the anime and the games. Flamethrower and Draco Meteor are two good examples of this, while other moves just look much better and they are more powerful in the anime. So here are 5 Pokemon moves that are cooler and stronger in the Pokemon anime. What better move to start things out with than the move that was HM01 for 6 generations? And this move is of course Cut. Now in the games, Cut has never been a very appealing move. As far as Pokemon battles are concerned, Cut has a base power of 50, which is low. It also has no additional effects. But despite having low power and no extra effect, Cut only has an accuracy of 95, meaning that it can miss from time to time. So it's not really a good move to use in battle. From a visual standpoint, Cut is pretty unimpressive too, since it's just, well, a cut. The Pokemon just cuts the opponent with a claw or a scythe. Cut's true strength was that it could get rid of the pesky little trees that would prevent you from accessing certain areas or items during your adventure, and thus, Cut was a move that you would only use to progress through the games. It was a move that you would only teach to Pokemon that you would not use in battle, Pokemon whose only purpose was to use HM moves. However, since HMs are a thing of the past now, Cut has even less appeal today than what it had before. Now, Cut has been for the most part accurately portrayed in the anime. Several Pokemon like Cacturne, Farfetch, and Servine, to name a few, have used Cut in the anime and has been faithful to the in-game Cut in almost every instance. However, there is an outlier. Enter Ash's Greninja, who had, without a doubt, the coolest Cut that has ever been used in the anime. Greninja would straight up pull out 2 blades, or rather kunai, since Greninja is, well, a ninja. And Greninja would use these kunai to mercilessly tear through its opponents and their moves. Greninja would also sometimes unsheath a sword basically whenever it used Cut. Greninja's Cut was even more amazing when Greninja was in Ash Greninja form, since the kunai would glow blue instead of white, and they were sharper. Their shape was much more defined. Greninja used Cut to great effect throughout the XYZ series, and it was always just so cool and powerful. It even sliced through Frenzy Plant, which is one of the strongest Pokemon moves. HM01 has definitely never looked as good as this, and it has never been as effective. Now, Greninja does have 2 other moves that classify for this list, but I decided not to include them because I need to have some ammunition left just in case I decide to make another video like this. What better move to follow up with than with another move that was also an HM move. Another move that is also on this list because of one of Ash's Pokemon, and another starter Pokemon at that. The move that I am referring to is Rock Climb, which is on this list because of Ash's Torterra, who is still the only Pokemon to ever use Rock Climb in the anime. Cut and Rock Climb were both HMs in the past, so in the games they both had a similar level of utility. However, Rock Climb was significantly better than Cut in battles. While Rock Climb's accuracy of 85 is lower than Cut's accuracy of 95, Rock Climb has a much higher base power of 90 and it has an additional effect. Rock Climb has a 20% chance of confusing the opponent. So in battle, Rock Climb was just vastly superior to Cut. Rock Climb even saw some use in competitive battling. It was the stab move of choice for Pokemon like Tauros. From a visual standpoint though, Rock Climb is pretty even with Cut, but the anime once again transforms a pretty lame move into something to behold. In the games, Pokemon just move up and down, which makes it look like they are climbing, and then little rock particles show up to indicate that the Pokemon is climbing a rock or a mountain. After this little animation, the Pokemon just tackles the opponent. This is Rock Climb in the games, nothing special. Now Rock Climb is unfortunately not available in Sword and Shield, where it might have been a bit cooler. In the anime, however, Rock Climb is just amazing. Torterra grows these badass glowing claws and he stands on his hind legs. Torterra then stomps on the ground. The ground shakes and it shatters, and a huge rock, which is pretty much a mountain, emerges from below the opponent, and the opponent is carried into the sky. Torterra then climbs up the rock using his claws with the intention of slamming into the opponent. This is easily one of the coolest, most badass moves to ever be used in the anime, and it's a far cry from the Rock Climb in the games. The only problem is that Ash's Torterra lost every single battle he participated in after evolving from Grotto, and thus Rock Climb did not defeat a single opponent despite being such an awesome looking move. In fact, Torterra was even defeated while using Rock Climb several times. Like the opponent does not even care that they are carried into the sky by a huge rock, and they just destroy poor Torterra, so because of this, Rock Climb is perhaps not stronger in the anime. However, Ash's Torterra did learn Rock Climb as a Grotto, and as a Grotto, Torterra did manage to defeat Candice's Sneasel with Rock Climb, so the move was not a complete failure in the anime. I focused mostly on Torterra's Rock Climb because Grotto had two versions of Rock Climb that he would use, and one of them was not as awesome as the one I described before. In the end, despite a low success rate, there is no denying that in the anime, Rock Climb is a visual treat. Next up is yet another move that is on this list because of one of Ash's Pokemon. And yet another starter Pokemon at that, Dragon Rage, which is on this list mainly because of Ash's Charizard. In the games, Dragon Rage always inflicts only 40 points of damage, and it does not take weaknesses or resistances into account. It's really not a good move unless you are trying to decrease an opponent's health by a set amount, or the opponent has only 40 HP or less remaining, meaning that you can't finish them off with Dragon Rage. Or if you are battling low-level opponents, in which case 40 HP might be their entire health pool or a good chunk of it. From a visual standpoint, Dragon Rage has been depicted as either a small ball of fire or a bluish-purplish flamethrower. Both versions are okay, I guess, nothing crazy. Dragon Rage, like Rock Climb, is not available in Generation 8, so Dragon Rage is another move that we can't see in Sword and Shield, where it could have looked better. So Dragon Rage is a weak move with okay visuals. The anime does depict Dragon Rage accurately most of the time. Pokemon like Druddigon, Salandit, and Garchomp do use a Dragon Rage that is just like the in-game Dragon Rage. Though I do want to give an honorable mention to Pete Pebbleman's Arcanine, whose Dragon Rage was a straight-up twister, which destroyed Ash's Kingler in the Indigo League. Another honorable mention goes to the Dragon Rage used by the group of Gyarados in the episode Pokemon Shipwreck. You know, the massive water cyclone that got everyone stranded on the island of giant Pokemon. But Ash's Charizard is the focus of this section. During the Silver Conference, Ash's Charizard used Dragon Rage a lot, and it was basically the Dragon Spirit Bomb, a giant sphere of destruction that consumes everything in its path. Just look at poor Golem here, who gets absolutely demolished by Dragon Rage. This is supposed to be a move that only does 40 points of damage, and yet it one-shots a Golem. Though maybe Gary just had a level 15 Golem for some odd reason. And yes, I know that having a level 15 Golem is impossible since Geodude evolves him to Graveler at level 25. But yeah, Charizard's Dragon Rage was just the coolest and strongest Dragon Rage ever. It was so strong, in fact, that when I was a kid, I'm talking like 8 years old maybe, I remember that I watched the Silver Conference for the first time, and I was convinced that Dragon Rage was Charizard's special ultimate move. I ended up wondering, why does my Charizard in Pokemon Red not know this move? So I figured that Charizard probably learns this move at level 100, given that it is such an awesome move. So I battled the Elite Four several times in order to power level my Charizard to level 100. And I succeeded. This Charizard was my first Pokemon to ever get to level 100. Of course, at level 100, Charizard learns nothing, so I was very disappointed. I found out later that Dragon Rage is not as powerful in the games as it is in the anime, and it's a move that Charizard could not learn in Generation 1. It was only starting with Generation 2 that Charizard and its pre-evolutions could learn Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage was just so amazing in the anime that it even led to a precious childhood memory that I will never forget. With this next move, we move away from Ash's Pokemon. The next move I want to discuss is Whirlpool. Now personally, I have always hated moves like Whirlpool, Wrap, Fire Spin, and Sand Tomb. Moves that do little damage up front because their purpose is to deal a small set amount of damage every turn for a set amount of turns. I hate these moves because being on the receiving end of one of them is annoying to say the least. Because every turn you see the little animation that indicates that your Pokemon is still affected by the move. The game also notifies you and your Pokemon loses a little bit of HP each time too, which can lead to a KO if your Pokemon is low on HP. It's frustrating when your Pokemon is low on health, but they still manage to beat a tough opponent only to then faint due to the continuous damage. So while Whirlpool is not a useless move, I do think that it's not a very good move. I think that it is a weak move and I never have it on any of my Pokemon in the games. This is all my opinion, of course. Visually, Whirlpool is okay. It's exactly what you would expect from a move called Whirlpool. The opposing Pokemon is trapped in a vortex of water, though in the earlier generations, it looks more like a torrent of bubbles. In the anime, however, Whirlpool looks a lot cooler and it's much stronger. The most impressive one by far is Lugia's Whirlpool from the Pokemon 2000 movie. Lugia creates a cyclone by spinning really fast underwater. Lugia then emerges while inside this huge water twister that decimates anything in its path. Not even 3 legendary Pokemon can stand against such a force of nature. This is definitely the strongest and coolest Whirlpool in the anime, but Lugia's Whirlpool is an outlier. Almost every other Whirlpool in the anime is a much smaller water cyclone that the Pokemon creates and then they throw at the opponent. Dawn's Piplup is one of the most notable users of this variant of Whirlpool. Other notable users include Kukui's Empoleon and Kenny's Floatzel. This version of Whirlpool is not as amazing as Lugia's version, of course, and it's probably not as strong. But this version is still much cooler and more powerful than the in-game Whirlpool, because it's a massive water twister that smashes into the opponent, and it swallows the opponent into a torrent of watery destruction, instead of being just a little swirl of water that leaves behind a small recurring vortex that damages the affected opponent a little bit every turn. And the final move on this list is Pin Missile. Now, Pin Missile, like Whirlpool, falls into a category of moves that I personally dislike. In the case of Pin Missile, it falls into the category of moves that have low base power, meaning that they are pretty weak. but they have the chance to hit multiple times in sequence, which can lead to a lot of total damage. The problem is that they have a chance of hitting up to 5 times in a row, meaning that you are at the mercy of RNG. If you're lucky, then Pin Missile can hit 5 times in a row, which does a good amount of damage. But if you are unlucky, it will just hit twice in a row, which deals little damage. I don't like having to rely on luck in battle, and even if you are lucky, you have to endure a long animation time as the Pokemon fires all 5 sets of projectiles, which is annoying to say the least. The only time I use multi-strike moves is when I am using a Pokemon like Cloyster with the Skill Link ability, which guarantees that multi-strike moves will hit the maximum number of times. This strategy is especially deadly when you combine it with an item like King's Rock, which makes it so that every hit has a chance of flinching the opponent. So Pin Missile has the potential to be very powerful in the games, especially after it was buffed in Generation 6. But most of the time it will either be decently powerful or it will have okay strength. From a visual standpoint, it's a pretty unspectacular move since the Pokemon is just launching several needles or spikes at the opponent. In the anime, Pin Missile was accurate to the in-game Pin Missile, but only at first. Pokemon like Jolteon did use a Pin Missile that is just a bunch of needles early on in the anime. However, in more recent episodes, Pin Missile has been shown in the anime as an actual barrage of spiky missiles, which transforms an okay looking move into something amazing. Pokemon like Golisopod, Chespin, and Ferrothorn have used this cooler version of Pin Missile in the anime. Drapion is another notable example, more specifically Pulse Drapion, who defeated half of Ash's team during Ash and Pulse battle at the Lily of the Valley conference. While Drapion did not defeat all 3 of Ash's Pokemon with Pin Missile was still nonetheless a powerful part of Drapion's arsenal, a move that really put the hurt on Ash's Pokemon, and Pulse Drapion is what got Pin Missile on this list. In the anime, Pin Missile is just so much cooler and it is also much stronger, especially because it is always a huge barrage of missiles. Unlike the games, there is no random chance that the move might launch less needles. And that's the list. It's always fun to compare the Pokemon anime to the Pokemon games, because while the anime is based on the games, some things simply don't carry over or transfer well from one media to the other, and the anime often has to take some creative liberties. Like I said before, I had the idea to make this video months ago, and I am glad that I finally got around to making this video. I would love to make more videos like this in the future, and not just about this specific topic, but also about other interesting topics relating to the Pokemon anime. If this video does well and if I see a lot of interest in it, then I will definitely make a part 2. I already have several moves in mind for it, and I will also think about other cool topics I could make videos on. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then please do consider clicking the like button down below. But that's the video. As always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.